Have you ever wondered why certain events seem to change only when someone observes them? There is a hidden principle at the foundation of reality that shows attention is not just passive, but an active agent of transformation. This principle is known as the observer effect, and understanding its essence can radically shift the way you see life, its challenges, and its possibilities. We are talking about a key that connects consciousness, energy, and reality, revealing that the simple act of observing can direct outcomes, shape experiences, and open doors that were once invisible. It is not only science, nor only spirituality. It is the meeting point between quantum mechanics and conscious manifestation, a field of infinite possibilities awaiting you. Prepare yourself to dive into this mystery, because what you are searching for is already in the process of coming to you. Leave in the comments, "I choose to observe my reality consciously." Quantum manifestation is the understanding that our thoughts, intentions, and focus are not merely internal processes, but direct influences on the field of possibilities that composes reality. Quantum physics, when investigating the smallest particles of the universe, revealed something surprising. The act of observing alters the behavior of what is being observed. This is the so-called collapse of the wave function, where multiple possible states reduce to a single manifested reality the moment consciousness interacts with the phenomenon. Superposition demonstrates that everything exists in several possibilities at once until observation directs a choice. This means your life is filled with potential paths, and the focus of your mind works like a lens that selects which version of reality you will experience. Coherence shows us that when thought, emotion, and intention are aligned, the energy projected into the quantum field becomes more organized and powerful, accelerating the realization of what is desired. The quantum field, invisible and infinite, is like a web of information that connects everything. Within it, every human thought is a signal sent out, a vibration interacting with the whole. The observer, therefore, is not just someone looking at the universe from the outside, but an active participant influencing the outcome of events. When we understand this dynamic, we see that manifestation is not about creating something out of nothing, but about consciously choosing among infinite possibilities already available. Thus, quantum manifestation is the bridge between science and personal experience, a process where the mind does not just interpret reality, but collaborates in shaping it. And when we learn to observe with clarity, intention, and trust, we activate the true transformative power of consciousness. Since the dawn of humanity, philosophers, mystics, and scientists have tried to understand the role of consciousness in constructing reality. For a long time, it was believed that the world existed in a fixed, independent way, while the mind merely recorded and interpreted what was in front of it. However, quantum physics profoundly shook this vision by demonstrating that consciousness is not just a passive mirror, but an agent capable of influencing the very fabric of reality. In the double-slit experiment, for example, subatomic particles behave like waves of probability until the moment they are observed. When no observer is present, they spread into multiple paths, showing that many possibilities coexist. But once observation enters the scene, those waves collapse into a single result, revealing that consciousness is intrinsically tied to the manifestation of what we call concrete reality. This discovery positions consciousness as the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the quantum field and everyday experience. This role of consciousness opens up an entirely new horizon of interpretation. If the simple act of observing can direct particle behavior, what happens when we deliberately direct our attention toward specific aspects of life? Instead of being passive victims of events, we become active co-creators of experiences. The mind not only reflects but also projects, organizes, and selects what will emerge from the field of infinite possibilities. When we understand this dynamic, the concept of reality expands. It ceases to be only what the senses capture and comes to include an invisible space, yet equally real, where all possibilities exist in a latent state. Consciousness acts as the key that chooses which of these possibilities will become tangible. It is as if we were standing before an infinite library, where each book represents a potential future, and consciousness is the hand that chooses which volume will be opened and read. The fascinating part is that this bridge does not operate only in big moments or conscious decisions. It is present in every instant, shaping reality from the quality of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions we cultivate. The human mind, with its ability to imagine, feel, and give meaning, is constantly sending signals into the quantum field. These signals, in turn, resonate with similar frequencies, attracting experiences that match what we project. Therefore, to understand consciousness as the bridge between mind and reality is to assume responsibility for our own creative power. It is to recognize that although we cannot control every external circumstance, we have the ability to direct the way we interact with them, and thus influence the unfolding results. Science shows us there is no absolute separation between observer and observed, but rather a continuous dance of interaction. This perception invites us to cultivate greater presence. When we are distracted, fragmented, or immersed in automatic patterns, we end up allowing reality to manifest randomly, without alignment to our deeper intentions. But when we awaken to the fact that our attention is creative, we can learn to use it as a tool of transformation. This requires clarity, mental discipline, and an expanded awareness that knows how to distinguish between noise and inner truth. Thus, consciousness ceases to be just a state of wakefulness and is understood as an active, creative, and transformative force. Through it, we move between subjective mind and objective world, between ideas and experiences. The bridge is always functioning, whether we are aware of it or not. The challenge and opportunity lie in crossing it intentionally, wisely choosing what we want to manifest in our journey. Ultimately, consciousness as a bridge between mind and reality reminds us that we are active participants in the great orchestra of the universe. We do not merely look at life, but collaborate with its very melody, influencing the rhythm and harmony of every experience that unfolds. At the foundation of quantum physics, we find a revolutionary concept, the collapse of the wave function. Put simply, it shows that all particles exist in a state of possibilities until something, or someone, interferes through observation. At that moment, potential becomes concrete reality, a single outcome among countless others that could have occurred. This phenomenon reveals an essential principle. Consciousness is not merely a witness to reality, but a fundamental part of its formation. Focus, therefore, becomes a powerful tool of manifestation. Wherever attention is concentrated, energy is directed, and that energy influences how reality is organized. Often we spend life scattering our attention, feeding worries, fears, or distractions. By doing this, we continue collapsing waves into results that do not match what we truly desire, but rather what we unconsciously reinforce. The secret is learning to train focus so it becomes an ally. Conscious focus acts like a beam of light. Imagine being in a dark room with infinite objects scattered around. Only when a flashlight shines on one of them does it become visible and present in your experience. Reality works the same way. The quantum field contains multiple possibilities, but it is attention that selects which will be illuminated and, therefore, lived. Intention is the force that gives direction to that focus. Without clear intention, the mind gets lost in dispersions, and the quantum field responds to contradictory signals. But when intention is firm, aligned, and repeated, it creates a coherent pattern that guides the collapse of waves toward the desired outcome. It is not about forcing reality into submission, but about aligning consciousness, emotion, and energy in such a way that the probability of a specific result becomes much greater. Science proves that even particles respond to the context in which they are placed. On larger scales, this translates into the principle that how we perceive and expect events directly influences how they unfold. Expectations are not just neutral thoughts. They shape the surrounding field of possibilities. When intention is rooted in trust, gratitude, and clarity, reality organizes itself to reflect that inner state. The danger lies in underestimating the power of attention. Focusing excessively on problems, obstacles, and frustrations is the same as giving energy precisely to what you do not want. The quantum field does not distinguish between what you want to avoid and what you want to attract. It simply responds to the quality of focus. Thus, when the mind constantly repeats an undesired scenario, it ends up collaborating to make that scenario manifest with even greater intensity. Training focus and intention is therefore a practice of self-mastery. It requires discipline to redirect attention when it slips into limiting patterns, and courage to sustain an intention even when external evidence has not yet aligned with what you want. This interval between intention and visible manifestation is where many give up. Yet it is precisely in this space that reality is being silently reconfigured until the new possibility becomes concrete. When we understand the power of focus and intention, we realize that life does not happen by chance. Every repeated thought, every cultivated emotion, every nourished mental image is a seed planted in the quantum field. The harvest depends on the consistency with which we nurture those seeds. This is the true magic of consciousness, not forcibly transforming something external, but reorganizing probabilities so that what we choose becomes the dominant experience. In short, the collapse of the wave function is not just a distant scientific phenomenon, but a living metaphor for our daily journey. Learning to use focus as light and intention as direction places us in the role of conscious co-creators, shaping reality with every choice of thought and every act of deliberate attention. If consciousness is the bridge, and focus together with intention are the tools that shape reality, then coherence between thought, emotion, and energy is the state that enhances this entire process. In quantum manifestation, it is not enough to think about something desired. It is necessary to feel and vibrate in harmony with that reality, so that the quantum field responds clearly and consistently. Thought, by itself, is like an initial frequency, a signal sent into the field. It creates mental images, projections, and expectations. However, if those thoughts are not supported by emotions, they remain fragile ideas without the strength to collapse waves in a meaningful way. Emotions, when aligned, work as energetic fuel, amplifying the message sent. Thinking about abundance while feeling fear of scarcity, for instance, is sending contradictory signals that end up weakening manifestation. Coherence arises when what we think, feel, and project energetically move in the same direction. It is as if mind and heart become a single transmission channel, creating a stable, strong, unmistakable vibration for the quantum field. Studies in neuroscience and physics show that the heart possesses a powerful electromagnetic field, capable of influencing even the surrounding environment. When it is in tune with the mind, the human energy field expands, and reality responds to that state of order. This alignment does not happen automatically. Often we are conditioned to think one way and feel another. We desire prosperity, but carry beliefs that it is out of reach. We want love, but cultivate emotions of rejection or distrust. This incoherence creates noise in the manifestation process, like trying to tune a radio station with interference. The signal exists, but it does not arrive clearly. To achieve coherence, a process of self-knowledge and conscious practice is necessary. This includes identifying limiting beliefs, replacing negative mental patterns with more expansive affirmations, and most importantly, cultivating emotions compatible with what is desired. It is not just thinking, "I am capable," but feeling the confidence of that capacity vibrating in every cell of the body. It is not just imagining a better future, but emotionally experiencing that future as if it were already present. This anticipatory experience is powerful because the brain and body do not fully distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined and felt. When we place ourselves in this state of coherence, we are literally training our biology and our energy field to align with the desired reality. The quantum field, in response, organizes probabilities compatible with this new vibration. Energy is the thread connecting thought and emotion. It is the frequency we carry and emit continuously. When we vibrate in states of gratitude, joy, love, and trust, we raise the quality of that energy, making it coherent with expansive realities. When we vibrate in fear, anger, or scarcity, we lower our frequency and reinforce experiences compatible with those emotions. Thus, manifestation is not just the result of mental effort, but of an integral state involving body, mind, and spirit. It is worth noting that coherence does not mean the total absence of challenges or negative emotions. It means cultivating the ability to return to alignment whenever we drift away. It is a constant exercise of observation and adjustment, like tuning a musical instrument. The musician does not expect the guitar to remain tuned forever. He adjusts it repeatedly to maintain harmony. Likewise, we adjust our thoughts and emotions to sustain the coherence that attracts what we desire. When we reach this state, life stops appearing as a random succession of events and begins to reveal itself as a clear reflection of what we vibrate. Manifestation flows more naturally, not as something forced, but as an inevitable consequence of a well-organized inner field. Thus, coherence between thought, emotion, and energy proves to be the key that unlocks the full potential of manifestation. It is the state in which we become open channels for the universe to respond precisely, bringing into our experience what we are already consciously and harmoniously vibrating. Understanding that consciousness shapes reality is only the first step. The true power lies in applying this knowledge in practice, turning it into a way of living. Becoming a conscious observer requires cultivating habits, mental states, and practices that keep attention aligned with what you wish to manifest. This journey is not instant, but a continuous process of awakening and choice. The first essential practice is cultivating presence. Being present means observing your own thoughts, emotions, and actions in the moment they occur, without automatic judgment. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to external stimuli without realizing that in this state, they reinforce old patterns. Presence allows you to break this cycle, bringing clarity to consciously choose where to place your focus. Another powerful practice is creative visualization. When you create vivid mental images of a desired outcome and sustain them with authentic emotion, you are training your mind and body to recognize that reality as possible, even inevitable. The clearer and more detailed the visualization, the stronger the signal sent to the quantum field. This practice becomes even more effective when combined with anticipatory gratitude, as this feeling generates energetic coherence and strengthens the vibration of intention. Meditation also plays a central role in the process of becoming a conscious observer. It helps silence mental noise, reduce distractions, and expand perception beyond habitual patterns. Through meditation, it is possible to access states of deep calm where the mind opens to new possibilities. In this space, the inner observer strengthens, becoming able to direct attention with more clarity and less interference from limiting beliefs. In addition, conscious breathing practices help balance energy. Breathing is a bridge between body and mind, and when done intentionally, it helps dissolve tension and align the inner state. Breathing deeply while holding a positive thought or clear intention is a simple and effective way to reinforce coherence between mind and body. Another essential aspect is monitoring internal dialogue. The words we use to speak to ourselves directly shape what we believe is possible. Becoming a conscious observer involves replacing limiting narratives with constructive, empowering affirmations. This does not mean denying difficulties, but choosing to interpret each experience as an opportunity for growth, rather than reinforcement of scarcity or helplessness. The environment we live in also influences our ability to observe consciously. Surrounding yourself with stimuli that raise energy, such as inspiring music, organized spaces, and positive human connections, strengthens the mind and makes it easier to maintain focus. The opposite is also true. Chaotic environments and negative interactions tend to disperse energy and attention. Being a conscious observer includes actively choosing the kind of influences we allow into our lives. The practice of daily gratitude is one of the most powerful tools of alignment. When we acknowledge the value of what we already have and feel appreciation for every detail, we immediately change the quality of the vibration we emit. Gratitude is not just an emotion, but a high frequency that opens space for new compatible experiences to arrive. Finally, it is essential to cultivate patience and trust in the process. Often, the desire is planted, and manifestation takes time to consolidate. The conscious observer does not give up in the face of the universe's apparent silence, but understands that this interval is a natural part of the collapse of probabilities. Sustained faith, combined with consistent practices, ensures that energy remains organized until reality responds. Being a conscious observer is not just about applying techniques, but about adopting a way of life. It is about taking responsibility for your own creative power, recognizing that every thought, emotion, and choice are seeds planted in the quantum field. By cultivating presence, clarity, and coherence, we transform the simple act of observing into an art of consciously co-creating the reality we wish to live. We have reached the end of this journey, but in truth, this is only the beginning of a new way of living. By understanding the role of the observer, you have discovered that you are not a mere passive spectator of reality, but an active participant directly influencing what manifests before you. Consciousness is the bridge that connects mind and reality. Focus and intention are the tools that direct energy. Coherence between thought, emotion, and vibration is the key that strengthens this process, and daily practices turn this knowledge into real, ongoing experience. When you choose to observe consciously, you stop giving your power away to external circumstances and take command of your own path. This is the essence of quantum manifestation, recognizing that within the infinite field of possibilities, there is always the chance to align with a new reality. Now, the next step is yours. Keep exploring, practicing, and expanding. And to strengthen this transformation even more, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, watch the video appearing on screen, as it complements this knowledge and will take you to even deeper levels of understanding. Your evolution has already begun.